This has been one of the most wild off seasons I can ever remember. What a perfect time to start a baseball YouTube channel in the off season going into 2020. There's been so many stories. It has been incredible. What an off season. The last couple were so boring. Nothing was happening, but it's been totally different. It was so much fun to talk about it. Now spring training is here, but I want to go over, in my opinion, the teams that had the best off season, the top 10 off seasons going into 2020. Let's do it now.
And he drives it into right center field, hit a ton. This baby is way back on a hair.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Humm Baby Baseball channel. And today, going to talk about 10 of the best off seasons. Your team might be on this list. If it's not, I apologize. This is just my personal list. There are teams that are not going to be on my list that had nice off seasons. This is just my personal top 10 based on how much they improved from last year and based on how much I think their chances are, how big their chances are to compete for a playoff spot and possibly a World Series championship in 2020. And a lot of teams have made huge leaps and bounds towards that possible goal. So let's get started with number 10. We got the New York Yankees, and they're on the list for one reason only. Gerrit Cole. They signed the best pitcher in the game. I don't know how this contract's going to work out, though. He could decline in 2020. I hope not for the Yankees' sake, but he could. So we don't really know how it's going to work out, but just because they signed by far the biggest name on the free agent market, at least as far as pitchers go, I got to put them on the top 10. They also re-signed Brett Gardner, so that's really cool for them. I almost want to keep calling him Mark Gardner. Brett Gardner back with the Yankees, but obviously their big signing is going to be Gerrit Cole. Next up on the list, number 9 is going to be the Minnesota Twins. And the Twins made some nice signings. I've talked about them, and they just picked up Kenta Maeda. Yes, they had to give up a really nice reliever in Brusdar Graterol, but they also got $10 million. If you give me $10 million, I give you Brusdar Graterol. No problem. I think they had to give up a draft pick as well, but all in all, they improved that rotation, possibly Kenta Maeda, very nice pitcher. And, you know, the Twins have a nice rotation. It's not like super solid, but it's kind of deep. I mean, it goes all the way through. They're going to have no problem having a 5-man rotation that should be pretty nice for them. And of course, with Berrios, and they got some nice names there at the top of it. And they also signed Rich Hill and Homer Bailey to solidify it. It's a pretty nice looking rotation. And when you got a team with a ton of power like the Twins do, they're going to be able to compete in 2020. Bullpen should be pretty solid. They signed Tyler Clippard. They bring back Sergio Romo as well. So the Twins looking good there, but their biggest signing of the offseason has to be Josh Donaldson. They win the Josh Donaldson sweepstakes, and Josh Donaldson rakes last year with the Braves with 37 bombs. He is on a 4-year deal, I believe, with the Twins. So as long as he can still have a year or two left where he can play like he did last year, he is going to be a huge asset for a Twins team that has pop up and down that lineup. And they just won 103 games last year. They're looking to contend again in 2020, so look out for the Twins. I got them number 9 on my list of best off seasons going into 2020. And at number 8 is going to be the Toronto Blue Jays, the winners of the Hyunjin Ryu sweepstakes. Congratulations to the Blue Jays for that, but they also have made a lot of nice signings this offseason, and most of it is for that rotation. I mean, Tanner Roark is coming on board to help out. They go to Japan and bring over Shun Yamaguchi. They work out a trade to get Chase Anderson as well, and they are able to get another power hitter, and they do have a lot of pop on that team as well. Just like the Twins, the Blue Jays have power up and down the lineup, and they pick up Travis Shaw from the Brewers, and he's going to help out as well in that regard. So the Blue Jays, I felt like, made a ton of improvements, and they're going to be really nice in 2020. They're not probably quite ready to compete for anything just yet. They're in a very competitive division, obviously, but I think that they're doing nice things here on this rebuild, getting ready to be competitive again. I really liked the Blue Jays off season. I got them in at number 8. Next up at number 7, by the way, was going to be the Angels, because I thought they were getting that Jock Peterson deal and really improving their rotation, getting a Ross Stripling. They end up canceling that deal, and because they didn't improve their rotation, I'm not going to put them on the list at all. They're probably dropping to number 11 or 12, despite the fact they signed Anthony Rendon and they brought over Joe Madden to manage the team. So the Angels had a good offseason, but man, I thought it was going to be a really solid offseason because I liked that move when they were going to pick up Ross Stripling and pick up Jock Peterson. I mean, they were ready to get to number 7. They were jumping up there. I had them written down, but that deal fell through. So as of now, they dropped back down to number 11. And in at number 7 is the Philadelphia Phillies instead, who also brought in a top quality manager with Joe Girardi. They were able to sign Didi Gregorius, big-time infielder, to come over and play for the Phillies instead of the Yankees. And then their biggest signing has got to be Zach Wheeler, one of the big free agents, one of the big pitchers on the free agent market, former New York Met, former Giants prospect, and he's going to be pitching for the Phillies. And if he can have a nice season, the Phillies are going to be in a position to really have a big year and compete for a wild card at least. So the Philadelphia Phillies had a very nice offseason, I think. Congratulations to the Phillies and the Phillies fans. And you also got rid of a manager you didn't like too much, and you moved him over here. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Coming in at number 6, I got personally the Atlanta Braves, who had a really great offseason. They're bringing over Will Smith to be probably their closer. This guy is legit out of the bullpen. Take it from me from first-hand knowledge watching Will Smith pitch for the Giants. He is sick. Cole Hamels comes over. You know, they couldn't get one of the big top-tier pitchers, but Cole Hamels on a one-year deal is going to be pretty nice for them. They don't have to pay him for years and years and years or anything. Just got him for 2020, where hopefully he has a solid year for the Braves. Failed on signing Josh Donaldson, but instead they go get Marcell Ozuna almost immediately when Donaldson signs with the Twins. Braves say, okay, we need another bat. Boom, Marcell Ozuna. He is a pretty good bat, and hopefully he has a bounce-back year. He hasn't been as good with the Cardinals as he was with the Marlins, but he's looking for a big season in 2020, and maybe he'll have one. They also re-signed Chris Martin and Darren O'Day, so they're making little improvements here and there. Travis d'Arnaud, another guy. So the Braves made some big improvements for their team, and they obviously were already really good and ready to compete. Didn't quite make it in 2019. They're going to try again in 2020. They got a really nice-looking squad, and they may be the favorites in the National League East. So look for the Braves in 2020. Nice offseason there. But coming in at number 5 is going to be the World Series champions, the Nationals. The Washington Nationals made a ton of moves, and I really loved their offseason because you win it all. You win the championship. You got the trophy, and you got a ton of free agents. It's so easy just to do a Marlins and just like completely rebuild and start over. And when people say, what the hell are you doing? Say, well, what am I supposed to do? They were all free agents. Everybody was leaving. I mean, there was nothing I could do. You know, they could have easily done that. Instead, they did everything they could to re-sign everybody they could. Howie Kendrick is back. Daniel Hudson is back. Zimmerman coming back. Yan Gomes coming back. I can't remember everyone they re-signed, but I know the biggest name they re-signed was Steven freaking Strasburg. Back. Unbelievable. They got Strasburg. They knew from the beginning it was going to be tough, if not impossible, to sign Strasburg and Rendon. But if they can get one or the other, and they did, that would have been a win. And they did. And they signed so many of their regulars. And then they go out and get Starlin Castro. I mean, maybe they're not as good as 2019, but damn, they're close. They did whatever they could to stay competitive and try to defend that title. They even signed Will Harris as a big-time bullpen piece. Everyone talked about how their bullpen was the biggest problem last year. Will Harris, by far the best free agent bullpen arm available, and they got him. So the Washington Nationals, what an offseason they had. I got them at number 5, and I'm looking for them to be competitive again in 2020. Numero 4. This is a team that had a very horrible offseason. Like, they're not signing anybody. What are they doing? What are the Dodgers doing? They think they're just good enough to win it all? Obviously not, because they can't do it. Boom, Mookie Betts. The Los Angeles Dodgers just skyrocket to number 4 on my list because they just signed one of the best players in the games. Well, they didn't sign him, but they get him in a trade, and they also pick up a very solid arm from the Red Sox in David Price. So, I mean, wow, the Dodgers just now became an absolute favorite to win the World Series in 2020. Before this trade, all they had done was sign Blake Treinen, and he's a nice reliever. And he really is, and that's a nice signing. I like that signing, but that wasn't going to get him in the top 10 alone. No way. Instead, they go and get one of the top 5, maybe top 3 players in all of baseball in Mookie Betts, and the Dodgers are ready to rock and roll. Not to mention, they end up getting Gratterall from the Twins as well. Are you kidding me? It's going to be nuts. The Dodgers are going to be sick in 2020. But I got at number 3, even a little bit higher, is the Arizona Diamondbacks. Even though they didn't sign anybody of that caliber, they made a bunch of little signings to really improve. And this is a team going into 2019 last year, nobody thought had a chance. They were down at the bottom of the World Series odds. It was like you bet $1 on the Diamondbacks, you win $500. Like, nobody thought the Diamondbacks had a chance, yet they were in a wild card race almost till the end. So almost immediately they start improving with Junior Guerra in that bullpen. They get Stephen Vogt, very solid backup catcher. These are just little moves. And then the big one with Madison Bumgarner. This is a World Series MVP. This guy can pitch in the World Series, in the playoffs, I should say, better than almost anybody in the history of the freaking game. So look for Madison Bumgarner if the Diamondbacks make the playoffs. I know a lot of people say they won't make the playoffs, but if they find a way in, they're going to have an ultimate arm there that's going to help them win some games in the playoffs, I think. They also bring over Cole Calhoun, former Angel. That guy can knock some home runs, and this team has a lot of good power-hitting guys already on that team. And then they get Starling Marte from the Pirates, who I said before is not even their best Marte. Marte joins Ketel Marte. I mean, this team is really stacked now. I mean, not like Dodgers level or Yankees level, but they do have good players. And in baseball, if you have a good team, you have a chance. And that's what I love about this game. Only 2 more teams left, and number 2, the best offseason in the National League, in my opinion, goes to the Cincinnati Reds. I got them at number 2, almost number 1, didn't quite make it, but the Reds, what an offseason y'all had. Wade Miley, one of the early signings. Oh, nice. You know, get another arm in that rotation. Could be a number 4 or 5 guy. Not bad. Then you get Shogo Akiyama as a possible leadoff guy, a guy with some speed, a great defensive center fielder, guy who can hit, a little bit of pop. You don't know how his numbers will translate to the big leagues, but this guy can hit, so that is nice. And there's an under-the-radar move I want to mention that I didn't talk about yet with the Reds, and that's Mark Payton in the Rule 5 draft. Who the hell is Mark Payton? Mark Payton is an outfielder who last year in Triple-A with the Las Vegas Aviators had a batting average of .334. Not bad. Well, does he have any power? How about 30 bombs? 334, 30 home runs. I mean, I'm sorry. That is an amazing season. You got to give this guy a look. I can't believe that the A's didn't protect this guy and put him on the 40-man. I'm not saying he's going to work out at the big league level, but damn, you put up those kind of stats. I know it's PCL. I know it's Pacific Coast League. 334, 30 bombs, and you maintain that throughout the whole year? Yeah, we're going to give you a look, and the Reds signed him under the radar in the Rule 5 draft, so if he has a nice spring training, he'll be on that roster. But that aside, they signed a couple other guys who we know can hit at the big league level. Mike Moustakas, Nicholas Castellanos, 2 of the bigger names on the free agent market, and they got them both. Unbelievable. Mike Moustakas, he absolutely rakes. He's going to hit your 35 bombs. And then, of course, Nicholas Castellanos was the biggest name left. Him, maybe in Puig, but they go with Castellanos. This guy can hit really well, and hopefully that wasn't just a little fluke. Hopefully his time with the Cubs shows how good he can really be, and hopefully the reason he wasn't as good with the Tigers was that gigantic stadium they play in, and hopefully he's going to be happier and more comfortable over in Cincinnati, who play at a very hitter-friendly ballpark. What an offseason for the Reds, and not to mention Pedro Strop they just signed, and I think he's still got something left there coming out of the bullpen. So the Reds just all in all had a super offseason, and I got him at number 2. But for the best offseason in 2020, if you've been watching my videos, you probably already know who it's going to be, and it's the Chicago White Sox. What an offseason they freaking had. They pick up Nomar Mazara from the Rangers. Nice little move. I think that helps him out a little bit. But then, huge free agent signing, Yasmani Grandal, one of the best catchers available, if not the best catcher. They pick up Grandal, and boom, they are a ton better. He's going to bring power. He's a great catcher. But they think, oh, we got to improve this rotation. So they signed Gio Gonzalez. They signed Dallas Keuchel. No, these guys are not freaking Garrett Coles, but they are solid. They're going to give you the innings. And when you have a lineup like the White Sox have, which is loaded with power, they need just decent pitchers who can go out there in a 9 innings give up 4 runs, 3 or 4 runs, no more than that, and hopefully the White Sox offense will make up for that. You don't need a guy who's going to go out there and freaking just throw no hitters. I mean, that'd be beautiful, but they can't afford that, so they did what they could. They also brought even more power with Edwin Encarnacion, and he's going to hit you some home runs. I don't know if he's going to have a super year or if he's going to start declining, but he's a little older, but the guy can hit. The guy has had a great big league career. And then you sign Steve Cishek to help out in the bullpen. Overall, it's not just about who did you sign. It's about who did you sign to add to a team that you already have. And I think it was a perfect compliment. That's why the Angels didn't make this list. Angels made nice signings, but the Angels needed starting pitching. They didn't improve their starting rotation that much. Whereas the White Sox have a legit lineup. They just needed to bolster that rotation, improve the bullpen a little bit, and maybe add a piece or here or there to even make that lineup even better. And they did all that. And I really loved the offseason for the White Sox. I got them in at number 1. So there you have it. That is going to be my list. I am sorry if your team didn't make it. There are a lot of nice offseason. Even the Orioles, I thought about it. I thought about them for a while. The Rangers had a nice offseason, but only 10 teams make the list, and these are the 10 teams that I went with. The Padres even had a nice offseason. So a lot of teams had nice offseasons, but I had to go with my personal favorite 10 offseasons. This is my list. Let me know your list down below, and we can talk about it there. So don't be too offended. Appreciate that. Really do appreciate everybody checking out this video. Have a fantastic day. Let me know what you think below. Check out the links in the description. And if you want to really help support this channel, I got a Patreon link that you can go check out. That's the best way to support the channel. Starts at $1 a month, and it means the world. It really does help me make more videos. But if you can't do that, no problem. Just hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I'm going to talk to you guys next time. See ya. When the Giants come to town, it's bye-bye, baby. Every time the chips are down, it's bye-bye, baby. History's in the making at Oracle Park.